a woman, not me, but we one of our neighbors, her son went to West Virginia University, and his fraternity's mascot was a goat. Well, when they graduated, the goat came to live at her house.
Well,
it got sick, so she was a doctor. She had to put the goat in the back of her Porsche and drive 2 hours.
Was it a convertible?
No. So there's this little goat stuck in the back, and she got pulled over by police.
My thing is, you know, it's nice that she was dressed like an ogre, because if you got pulled over and they said you looked like an ogre and you weren't dressed up, like what?
Okay, this is my normal face.
Exactly. And then I'd have my feelings hurt, that's for sure.
Well, Chonda, you have tons of funny events happening in your life as a comedian. Speaking of which, you're known for clean comedy. And
I am.
Isn't laughter so important during these tough times
You
in the
know,
world?
it is. Culturally, you know, comedy has a tendency to get a little tawdry, as my grandma would say. I grew up in a sector of the culture that I didn't hear those words. You know, as a preacher's kid, shucks was about as tough as they got. And I remember the taste of Ivory soap, so I've kind of always just kept it that way, like I remember. But it is, you know, culturally, we kind of have a tendency to mirror, comedians do, mirror what's going on in your life, what's going on in the world. And no matter what kind of language you use, everybody should be sending the president like flowers every day, because he gives the comedians so much
material, that's for sure. You have a show, your tour, Getting Back to Funny. You're sold out tonight.
Yes.
But what's the meaning behind Getting Back to Funny?
You know, I've been touring for 25 years. I've been doing this for a very long time. And a couple of years ago, my husband passed away. Now, he was a major part of my material. So to talk about him now, you look like a jerk talking about the dead. But now that he's gone, I've got things I've been dying to tell you. But all that to say, it took a couple of years, you know, through that grief and through that trauma. And the greatest gift that you can use to utilize, you know, good health is laughing. There's so many biological, you know, things that happen when you laugh, and so that laughter has been really great medicine for me. And I feel the funny. You know, it used to be you go back to work, you do what you know works, and the audience laughs, but you're not really feeling it. But this time around, I feel the funny.
You feel the funny. I love that.
It.
You know what I like to do with my husband on the weekends, especially like Friday night. You've been working all week. You're so serious about your jobs, Washington. We like to watch comedy specials.
Absolutely.
And I know you have a comedy special that people can get.
I have a lot. I've had a couple of really great movies out there that's done really well, you know. But in my hometown, I work the Grand Ole Opry a lot, you know, and so that keeps me on my toes around town. But I'm on the middle of a tour right now called Getting Back to Funny, and you can go to chonda.org and find out where that's stopping in a city near you. So
you say it's kind of different this time because you're really feeling it, but what to you is the most fun part of the show?
Well, I think for me, and I've been at it a long, long time, I like leaving the audience with a little something more than just the laugh. So whether that's talking about good health, whether it's talking to women about taking care of themselves and breast cancer screenings and all of those things. I talk a lot about depression. I wrote a book called Laughing in the Dark that seemed to resonate with a lot of people. And especially in that clean comedy world and in that churchy world, we don't talk about the real issues like we should. And so talking about depression has kind of been my mantra for quite some time, and that there is no stigma to it, and there is no shame. So go get yourself some help. Yeah.
And is this something that you have dealt with? Depression?
Oh yes.
Oh wow.
Oh yes. I'm clinically depressed. I'm highly medicated, but I'm clinically.
You're in great spirits. A lot of
because I am so happy.
It's working.
And you know your drugs are working when it's 9
a.m. that is, like, just let me know the name. No, I'm joking. But a lot of comedians, they talk about being depressed, and they find the funny as a way of lighting up not only themselves but audiences all over.
You know, I think for a long time comedy is used as a deflector for your own pain. You know, I think that happens a lot in comedians' lives. If you're not careful, you will get addicted to that drive and that feeling and that euphoric moment of making a crowd laugh. And I think what happens a lot of times, if you're not careful, a comic wants to mimic that feeling off the stage, and then you'll spiral into a trap that's just not healthy at all. But the gift that comedy can be is a way of deflecting our pain or soothing, self-soothing, you know, ourselves, maybe not taking ourselves so serious, you know, those are the things. And comedy is a great way of teaching a group of people something. and they'll remember it better. You know, how many of us remember the funny high school teachers that we had instead of the really, you know, the drab ones? Can I say drab?
You can say drab.
It's like, there's teachers in the house, we have to be careful. Yeah, but it is. Comedy is a great way of making a point. Yeah.
Well, and I love what you said about leaving them with a message. And I mean, you can read as many self-help books as you want or listen to inspirational speakers as you want, but it's just, people will probably, they probably are soaking it in so much more than they realize at the moment, and then maybe a couple days later be like, where is it, why is this in my head? And it was something you said, and they didn't feel like they were being preached to.
Yes, I agree. I believe that. You've got a sweetheart on the show coming up who is tackling a very serious subject, but do it in a way that you will never forget it. And that is the gift. That's the art of what comedy can be. Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited about your comedy because it's something that I can watch with my parents, with my family, and I kind of feel like we all can laugh together.
Good.
Whereas some comedians, you're like, okay, I gotta divide the audience as they say.
I'm done for the remote too myself.
Chonda, thanks so much for coming and have a great show tonight.
Thank you for laughing.
We've got more laughter coming up after this.